I bet you didn't think Driving Electric would be featuring a Ford Mustang anytime soon, yet here we are. This is the Mustang Mach-E, and there isn't a V8 petrol engine in sight. It's a new fully electric model that's about the same size and price as a Tesla Model 3, which means it's got a lot to prove. Ford has made a proper effort with this car, unlike some of its previous attempts to go electric. So let's find out what it's really like. Oh, but before we do, if you like this video, then give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the Driving Electric YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos go live. There are two versions of the Mustang Mach-E, the standard range and the extended range. Ford says the standard one can do 273 miles on a charge, but the extended model we've got here has an impressive 379-mile range. Ours is the rear-wheel drive model, but four-wheel drive versions with an extra motor bolted to the front axle are available. The standard range cars have 266 brake horsepower, but this extended range version has 290 brake horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque. Those four-wheel drive models are more powerful still, with up to 346 brake horsepower in the extended range car. 0 to 62 miles per hour, as quoted by Ford, takes between 5.8 and 7 seconds, depending on which model you go for. Ford reckons the Mach-E will average 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, but while we were testing it, it managed a respectable 3.4, which works out at a range of roughly 300 miles on a full charge. The Mustang's closest rival, the Tesla Model 3, has a range of up to 360 miles, and in reality is pretty good at coming close to that figure. The Mustang logo is surrounded by this large panel at the front rather than a grille, and then you've got these sharp looking headlights. It's fairly tall and the ride height has been jacked up slightly. Ford wants to attract buyers who are looking to buy an SUV, and well, there are plenty of people who are looking to buy an SUV these days. Moving down the side, you'll notice there are no conventional door handles. You have to use these buttons to open the door. They're definitely cool and quirky, but I'm not sure I don't just prefer a normal pull handle. But anyway, at the back, there's this low roof line and the wheel arches bulge out like on the Mustang sports car. It's the most obvious link to the classic model along with the headlights. These black trims around the wheels are another thing that's meant to make it look more like an SUV. Is it the best or worst of both worlds, or a mismatch of sports car and SUV? We'll let you decide on that one, but do let us know what you think in the comments. The standard range Mustang Mach-E has a battery with a usable capacity of 68 kilowatt hours, with the ability to charge at up to 115 kilowatts at a public rapid charge point. This extended range model ups that to 88 kilowatt hours and can charge at a maximum of 150 kilowatts, which you can do at an increasing number of locations in the UK. At one of these, the Mach-E can be taken from 10 to 80% in 45 minutes, which makes it rather good for longer trips. You're not going to be charging at this speed most of the time though. Most people will be plugging in at home overnight. If you have a 7.4 kilowatt wall box charger, the Mach-E will go from empty to full in 14 hours. Since you're unlikely to arrive at home with nothing in the battery at all, it's almost certainly going to be full up and ready to go each morning, even if you have an abnormally long commute. So what's the name all about? Isn't a Ford Mustang about as far from an electric car as you can get? Well, truth be told, it's mostly about marketing, but from behind the wheel, you can sort of see what Ford is trying to do. One of the Mustang sports car's strong points is that it has lots of torque from the V8 petrol engine, but the Mach-E is really punchy as well. If I put my foot down, everything kicks in instantly and it feels really quick. And this isn't even the fastest version. There's a GT model coming soon that's going to be even faster. This extended range model will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 7 seconds. The four-wheel drive version slashes that even more to 5.8 seconds, so they'll beat most hatchbacks in a straight line. There are 3 driving modes: Whisper, Active and Untamed. The first of these is the most pleasant to drive as it makes the ride smoother and it stops the slightly silly sound synthesizer that aims to reproduce the noise of a V8 engine. Can you hear it? Bit weird if you ask me, because there isn't a V8 engine in this car, but other than that it's nice and quiet inside, and like all electric cars, it's relaxing to drive in traffic. It's good fun on twisty roads as there's not much body roll. However, the steering's a bit odd. It's vague but too quick at the same time, and the suspension could be better. It's all right on a smooth road, but there aren't many of those in Britain, so the Mustang doesn't really seem to settle down. Therefore, it could be more comfortable. The Mach-E comes with loads of standard equipment, including adaptive cruise control, front and rear parking sensors, dual zone air conditioning and heated front seats, along with 18-inch alloys, LED lights, keyless entry, a heated windscreen, panoramic sunroof and a hands-free tailgate. All-wheel drive models up the kit count slightly, with a custom body kit and red brake calipers sat behind bigger 19-inch wheels. You also get adaptive headlights and some racier fabrics inside. We expect both cheaper and more expensive models at a later date. Most importantly, the Mustang has the rather impressive combination of a 10.2-inch driver's display and a massive 15.5-inch central infotainment screen. It's probably the closest we've come to seeing a true Tesla challenger in this regard, and if anything, it's easier to use and less distracting when you're driving. It has sat-nav and voice control built in, and of course you can connect your phone. There's a wireless charging pad down here which is roomy enough for even the biggest of smartphones. In fact, there's lots of storage in here, including these cup holders and a large central bin with an armrest. The build quality is definitely better than the Tesla Model 3, and there are a few parts that I recognise from other Fords I've driven, like the stalks and the gear selector. Overall, there's a feel of exclusivity that's lacking from lesser Ford models. Perhaps that's part of the reason why there's no Ford badge on the front of the Mach-E, as it has to compete with more upmarket brands like BMW and Mercedes as well. The Mustang Mach-E is essentially a big hatchback, so there's actually a lot of room inside. The boot is only 402 litres, which doesn't sound that huge, but there's also an 81 litre space in the front, which many electric cars don't actually have, despite there being no engine there. Most people will use this space to store the charge cables. The Mustang comes with two cables, one for charging at home and another for wall boxes and public fast chargers. There are plenty of driver aids like the 360-degree reversing camera and active parking tech to help make the Mach-E easier to drive as well. It's a bit of a shame about this low roofline in the back. It makes it harder to fit in big boxes in the boot, and taller occupants might have problems with headspace. Still, these are the sacrifices you make for sportier looking cars. Tinted windows come as standard, which can make it feel a bit dark in here, but are great on sunnier days. The Ford Mach-E has a few small issues, like the steering and the ride comfort, but otherwise it's a really convincing electric car at a pretty reasonable price. It's got a long range, impressive in-car tech, and it's really quiet and relaxing to drive. It's also better built than the Tesla Model 3, so it's well worth considering if you're in the market for one of those. Is it really a Ford Mustang though? Some purists might turn their nose up at it, but from where we're standing, we reckon it can wear the horse badge with pride. Head to DrivingElectric.com for all the latest electric car advice, news and reviews. And check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the Driving Electric YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when a new video goes live.